Boys, girls, all my Trumbullooks out there, welcome back to the channel. And I'm Joe, and this is my review for Season 2, Episode 4 of Fear the Walking Dead, Thomas Abigail. This was a great episode. This was an episode that I think so many of us were waiting for. It's finally welcome to the apocalypse. They're starting to see the evil that this world presents. And they see it in a big way with the Abigail, the boat being invaded by none other than Jack's group from Alicia's little walkie-talkie sessions, and things got really interesting because they were really held captive, pretty much. And that's something we haven't seen too much with Fear the Walking Dead. And this was really evil being introduced into the show. And we have kind of a bad guy, I guess, with Connor. We're going to have to see where it goes with Connor. But I like the advancement so far. This episode definitely did not disappoint in that sense. And it didn't disappoint in the other in any other sense as well, because it shuffled three storylines, that being one of the storylines. Another one being Strand's flashbacks, a little bit about Strand, so that way we can expect a little bit of, so we know kind of what to expect with Strand a little bit. And it seems that he's going to meet, I guess, I don't know if they were married or just, I'll say for these purposes, his lover, because we don't know too much more. They might have mentioned it. I didn't catch that if they did, but I guess his lover at this point, Thomas Abigail. And it seems like that's why he's going to Mexico. So it makes sense. And it makes sense because it seems like Thomas Abigail comes from money, so it would make sense that he would have some kind of location. And that was probably his house that he was at, that Strand was at when he got the Abigail the boat. Or actually, it could have been Strand's house, now that I'm saying it. I don't know. But Thomas Abigail probably has some kind of secluded location, so it makes sense that Strand would want to go there for that and to see Thomas Abigail. So we got a lot with Strand in that sense. We're learning about him, and he still isn't a man really to be desired. He's still a character that's pretty shady and still mysterious, but really not one that's too admirable, especially when the boat started getting invaded and he just flees. So, you know, his character is still kind of a wild card, and that's what I love about the character. And then we also have the storyline with Nick, where he goes to find, sorry, the name escapes me at this moment, Louise, was it? He goes to find Strand's friend, or Thomas Abigail's friend, whatever the relationship is there, and brings him back to the boat. And that storyline was great. Really, in my opinion, I think Nick and Strand are the two more interesting characters on the show. Nick is the character who's had the most development. He's come the longest way. His character's evolved so much, and he's really becoming the fearless one. And he's really, in many ways, kind of Glenn. We've seen him in episodes of the season go out to kind of save anyone who needs saving. Whereas, like I said, with Chris, where Chris is kind of the violent one who we see it in the making. He's kind of the one to really get the job done in that sense. So we see their kind of stories going in different directions, and we see that the fearlessness with Nick. And it's funny the show being called Fear, and then one of the main characters with Nick having no fear. And that's what I love about the character, is how far he's come. Because at first he was a very, very afraid character. When we first come across him in the first episode of season 1, he's very afraid, the situation at the time was different, but the character is very afraid. So I love the evolution that this character has had, and just the sight of him walking through the streets with the blood on him, going head to head, going face to face with walkers, and just walking by. It's reassuring to see how far he's come and what a great character he's become. So we have that storyline. We basically had the invasion storyline, a Strand storyline, and a Nick storyline. So this episode was definitely, I think, going to deliver when you have those three things going for it. And Alicia's decision originally a few episodes back with Jack was dumb. We all knew it at the time, and they kind of call her out on it. Don't. They said a couple things about the episode, like don't be too nice. Basically, was something Reed kind of got at with saying if you should ask whether someone should be dead, they should already be dead. Reed was a fun character. It looks like we're going to see a little bit more of him. I like his kind of presence on screen. He really kind of has a way about him with the character that's interesting. So I want to see more of Connor's group. I want to see what more we have to do with that. And I want to see more of Strand's background. I want to see more of Nick off kind of on his own, just Nick's kind of thing going on, even though he's back. Nick and Strand are the two best characters, and I think the Invasion storyline was great. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say for this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead, and this is where it becomes more of a dialogue. I want to talk to you guys about this episode. What did you think about this episode? I could see some people saying best episode of the series. I really can. I maybe wouldn't dispute that. I don't know if I'm going to say that, but I don't know. That's why I want to talk to you guys about this. What did you think of this episode? I was a big fan of this episode, and I want to know what you guys thought. I want to talk about this. So let me know what you guys thought. Subscribe. It takes around that much effort to do so. And until next time, you have been traumatized.